All right. Magic Mirror and more. Patch 3 for Baldur's Gate 3. Hello, everyone. Patch 3 is now live for Baldur's Gate 3. Mac users and chronic character recreators rejoice. Hey! That's me. Friday's update will bring the full release of Baldur's Gate 3 to Mac and allow you to change your character's appearance. Wait, that's not why you chronically recreate characters. In-game via the Magic Mirror. Okay. More fully supported on Mac. Good, but not something I personally care about. All right. As with the PC release in August, saves made in previous versions of BG3 on Mac will not be compatible with the full release. To prepare your Mac for the full release and minimize potential compatibility, fully uninstall the game and remove any mods before installing the latest version. Okay. All right. Magic Mirror listed as their first point. So the most important part of this patch. Tucked away in your camp, exuding a certain, we found this at a vintage fair and it's too fancy for our current home energy, is an item called the Magic Mirror. Tales have been told of its legendary ability to permanently alter the appearance of one who gazes into it. The Magic Mirror allows you to change your appearance whenever you'd like, however many times you'd like. There are some restrictions. Your appearance, voice, pronouns, and nether regions can be changed, but your race and subrace and body type cannot. Origin characters, hirelings, and full illithids cannot use the Magic Mirror. Cosmetic modifications that are a consequence of your gameplay choices will persist. Hag got your eye. Swallow any interesting tadpoles. There's no magic mirroring these big life decisions away. Personally, we'll be applying incrementally heavier eyeliner whenever we have a dark urge moment in our playthrough to really emphasize our descent. I see. Okay. I didn't realize this was a feature in high demand, but I guess it must have been. Once again, our patch notes have been defeated by the Steam character limit. Read the full notes here, but beware of spoilers. Okay. All right. It's now fully supported on the Mac, and you have a Magic Mirror. All right, combat. This is a much more interesting title for us. Let's take a look at combat. All right. Vampire got weaker in full light, sure. These are a bunch of very specific. Grim suddenly got eerily Spartan, was avoiding the crucible in the adamantium forge. He was a gamer. The fight we had with him too there. These do not actually seem okay. So those are 3 spoiler changes to 3 specific bosses. I don't even know Answer Stormheart yet. So fix level 4 or higher Divine Smite, allowing you to add Divine Smite as a reaction, allowing for 2 Divine Smites in 1 attack. Fix a Divine Smite, damage increasing over the cap of 5d8. Made several improvements to the Poltergeist enemy. Okay. Fix sneak attack damage, bonus not increasing to 66 at level 11. Fix the case where multiple smoke powder arrows could be used for free while the extra attack feature was active. Okay. Performance in Lower City. PS5 changes. There's some art. Made dye colors more intense and more visible. That will go nice with the mirror, I guess. Dragonborn characters can now select any of the barbarian piercings. Fix Shadowheart going blonde when equipping a hat. Improve the reflection in the spectator's eye in the Underdark. Fix face tattoos disappearing when zooming out. Okay. Flow and scripting. I almost don't want to read these. There's a lot to. I guess I will. These are some of the big bugs that were bothering us in Act 3. So let's have a look. Fixed a bug where companions temporarily leaving the party, being sent to prison, would forget their partnership history and act unusually cold towards you. Fixed a bug letting you trade with Cazador when he begs for mercy. And improved the Asterian romance flow if you agree to spend the night with him before going to camp by disabling some less important camp moments. Fix some dialogue options only showing up once when talking to Withers. Fix a blocker where if you knock Orin's Slayer form into the chasm, you can't get her Netherstone. It's all spoilers for me. Fix an issue causing Daemon to enter combat and die at the last light, preventing Karlach's story from progressing. Okay. Added a journal step for when the tieflings leave the Emerald Grove. The Forging of the Heart quest will also close if Daemon is no longer available in the region. Fix the game thinking you're dating Gale instead of Karlach. You now need higher approval for Shadowheart to confess her Shar worship to you. Misha the cat will now follow you around of Toto, even if you don't have speak with animals. Halsin, Jaheira, and Minthara will no longer be able to undergo Volo's ice pick lobotomy. It's just not their kind of pastime. I didn't know you could get other characters to do that in the first place. It's interesting. Fix not being able to cut Vanra out of the hag by interacting with her knocked out body if all of her mushrooms are destroyed. Don't know what that means yet. Maybe this is some other thing I can do in the hag fight, or maybe it's a second hag. Lae'zel will no longer tag along whether dead or alive after you slit her throat when she ambushes you at night. Nice. Fix the bug allowing you... I won't remember any of the spoilers, chat, so if it's a big spoiler for you, maybe, sorry, maybe we can't do the patch notes together, but for me, I won't remember. It's irrelevant. Fix the bug allowing you to yoink the Orphic Hammer right out of the so-called impervious sphere in the House of Hope if someone else in your party is in interactive dialogue with the sphere. We haven't been there yet. Fix the flow issue in Shadowheart's endgame romance dialogue. To make sure Karlach appears alone. Okay. Fix Karlach's journal mistakenly saying you arrived. Will should now acknowledge Karlach. Fix an issue causing Shadowheart's swimming scene to not play. The narrator no longer thinks you're a mind flayer when you're not. Fix companions talking about killing Gortash after meeting Orin, even if the former is already dead. Fix issues with Astarion discussing topics are no longer relevant. Rework the interaction between Nier and Minthara. Oh, we've already... Nier and Minthara get interactions. How would you even do that? You would have to have killed the Grove before entering the Underdark, huh? All right, and then one about dating Karlach. All right, so bunch of scripting stuff, which is important for the enjoyment of the game as the player, but kind of really annoying to read as patch notes, especially when you don't know which ones they're referencing or you haven't got to them yet. Probably most people are done the game by now, but I could not play Act 3 with the way the scripting was set up currently. And that actually didn't address any of the issues that we've had with Act 3 at all, right? Anyway. All right, the following spell is now correctly break the Sanctuary condition. I didn't know you were able to maintain Sanctuary despite casting a bunch of attack spells. That's probably good. Level up will now queue all characters who can be leveled up so you don't have to click on them individually. I don't even know if that might be a downgrade. Sometimes it's nice to do them individually. I do them shortest to longest most times. I wonder how that will work. Fix some corpses never showing the empty tag after you loot them. That's nice. It's just quality of life. Fix not being able to use some reactions while in disguise. Okay. Cazador's staff will now correctly unlock the blight spell. Spoiler. Fix several magic items and Volo's Ursat's eye losing their power after you were killed and revived. I wonder if that's what's been going on. I feel like C Invis does not work for us. But I actually think it's probably because I think C Invis is using your spell DC and then making them roll a dex save, and our current character who has the eye doesn't have a good spell DC, so I'm pretty sure the eye is doing basically nothing for us. Fix the spell Sniper's Feet not working on attack spells. Yeah, but that would have been a problem. I bet you've been pretty disappointed if you took the spell Sniper Feet and then it didn't work on spells. The spell Sniper Feat will now correctly reduce critical hit threshold by 1. Fix the Idol of Sylvanas buff disappearing after long rest. NPCs will no longer run away from anything but the Dark Urge Slayer form to improve interactivity and flow. Hey, that's nice. First of all, I didn't know there was a Slayer form. That's interesting. But no longer run away from your summons is good. Mummies raised through Create Undead can now jump to follow you around better. The Everburn Blade now correctly sets explosive surfaces and explosive objects alight when hit. Any flaming blades have been a scam in this game. The Misty Escape Feat will no longer break concentration. There's a Misty Escape Feat? I didn't know that. Reading shop signs will no longer be considered a crime. Cutting Words reaction is now set to ask by default. Summon zombies and skeletons will no longer be able to pick up loot and disappear with it when dismissed. The Azer's Summon Overheat ability is now available on its hotbar when summoned. The Nimblefinger gloves now correctly apply their dex bonus to gnomes, halflings, and dwarves. Fix an animate dead exploit allowing you to summon 2 skeletons from the same corpse. Optimize how the game handles object selection on the controller. And fix Sovereign Spa being able to resurrect... I don't know what this is. Oh, Sovereign Spa, we do know him, but I didn't know he could do this anyways. Resurrect hirelings with animating spores. We taught him not to use this on player characters anymore. Okay? See a flipper? Alright. You selected... UI, your selected trade mode is now saved to your player profile. Okay. So you don't have to set that each time. Added an option to the default online settings to let you automatically listen in when another party. Okay, don't care. It's group stuff. Clarified whether something is a resistance, a vulnerability, or an immunity in the examine window. It's good. Add a notification for when another player in your party is trading. Fix spells being interrupted by climbing, allowing you to attack twice after climbing down from a crate. Updated the character sheet on controller to place active conditions above the list of notable features. Okay. So fix some small holes in Act 1 that weren't letting tiny characters through them. Added a dialogue option in the first in-person dialogue with Dream Visitor. Okay. Wrote some spell and action descriptions that were too vague. Just like all their spell and action descriptions. Let's see how true that is. I guess they say some specifically, so they built themselves a backdoor to not having fixed this. Okay. Audio. Fix Raphael's boss fight music. Fix some VO not playing in dialogues. Fix audio cutting out with 3D audio enabled. Optimize audio and merge split screen cinematics. All right. I don't think we need to read the cinematic changes. Crashes and blockers. A bunch of these have been fixed as well. Important ones, but unless we're encountering them, they're pretty boring for us. Some PS5 changes. Uh-oh. Okay. Let's see what performance and optimization. There's another combat tab down here. They are good with these patch notes because what they've done.
You have returned.
Thanks, always. What they've done is they've added.
Up to the level cap now.
That's true. They've added a bunch of different combat headings. I don't know why there's multiple combat headings, but there are. So these are highlight combat, and I don't know what this one is then. What is this one? UI combat? Like, what is this subheading? Why is there just another combat tab a little bit later down? All right, anyways, let's read performance and optimization. Made many optimizations to make sure we can reach our quality FPS target if most, not all, regions of the game. Improve performance while preventing shoving or pushing spells. That's actually kind of nice. Improve performance by disabling faraway NPCs with automated overhead dialogues and in-world behaviors. Made several optimizations when moving around the world on controller. Improve performance when updating the cursor when preparing a spell. Improve performance in dense crowds. Improve character loading times. Improve minimap performance. Improve performance in the lower city. Optimize the level up system. Optimize turn order calculations in combat. Hopefully this one gets rid of that bug where the game sometimes hangs in combat. Optimize how the game handles projectiles. Optimize the lighting in the shadow curse lands. Stop calculating whether a save is missing mods unless it's selected in the UI. Stop loading icons from character creation if the UI isn't open. Okay, let's see what the next round of combat changes are. Fixed an issue where Glut couldn't multi-attack some prone creatures. Increased the range of Shadow Creeper's burrow action. Fixed, I don't even know this name, one of the Thorm's combustible coins. Oh, so this is the Gatekeeper. Not leaving combat after they explode. Fixed the Barbarian in the self-same trial not being able to use its rage ability. Also added in a few passives it was meant to have. The Spell Rot Curse now does more damage and gives you disadvantage on all saving throws in Tactician mode. Answer should now attempt to turn to face the nearest player after using his fly. The Magma Mephits will now explode on death as expected. In the lower city, I wonder if they fix all of them. All exploding creatures have been broken for us this playthrough. This includes the ones in the swamp, the one in the lower Underdark, and now it sounds like there's another set. I wonder if they all will explode now. Fix the silencing spell of the Dream Visitor in the final battle. Fuck, that's a big spoiler. Okay. Fix the bug where Gortosh's servants would use Bane's voice of command. Fixed Avatar Tyranny buff not working as expected. More. Dude, there's so much of this game we haven't seen yet. It'd be really nice to see this at some point. More stuff that we don't know about in later fights. I mean, this is what we wanted, right? We wanted to give them time to fix a bunch of the stuff in Act 3. The problem is I'm not seeing a bunch of fixes for the stuff that we're currently struggling or getting stuck on in Act 2 in terms of problems. Swarm together multiple ambusher combatants for various trials. All right, this is all Act 3 combat fixes. I have been told the Act 3 fights are very fun. Cazador, Gortosh. Trials of Baal. There's a bunch of fucking stuff up there we haven't done yet. All right. Added HP buffs for random certain NPCs in story mode if you consider your allies. Made your hero consider neutral characters similar to allied characters in combat. Far less likely to damage characters out of combat. Pile of bones found in Shadowfell. These are all like super. Everything so far there has been Act 3 fights that I haven't played yet. All right. So I kind of don't want to like spend all the time reading. I also don't want to miss him for completion, but man. All right. Fixed the Daddy's Lecture spell cast by Oliver's Shadow Dad, triggering the shield bash reaction if character's not in melee range. Raphael is now susceptible to controlling. Incapacitating condition effects. Okay. His wisdom score has been increased. The blinding attack from the Ravens is now improved. In Explorer mode, we don't care. Fix some NPCs. Does anyone play this game in less than full difficulty? Like anywhere on any forum from any player past like 2 minutes? Fix some NPCs using the Thaumaturgy spell, which they shouldn't. Fix the Act 2 boss. not having the correct condition immunities. Tactician mode, Mezzles now also restrain you and garroting you. Jesus. It's pretty nasty. Just gonna make that fight even harder. The fight's a nasty fight. Night Song's combat AI should now have an even greater bias towards targeting Ketheric. Fix answer playing the wrong animation when killed. Viconia's Sanctuary now blocks incoming damage from player characters. All Sharons no longer resistant to necrotic damage or vulnerable to radiant damage. It's an interesting change. Viconia's wolf form can now share Shadowheart. Raphael's Hellfire spell is now properly pierce. Fixed his spells so they pierce. More Raphael changes. I guess he was easier than it was intended. Dragons now have a flat damage reduction mechanic.
You have returned.
Does this mean there's multiple dragons and I haven't seen any of them yet? Man. Nice Carbonous Arm. Okay. Adjusted the spawn locations for the Intellect Devourers. In the high... Oh, the High Hall. I thought it said the High Hell. I'm like, I didn't think we were going to get into hell at the end of all this. Pact of the Chain Frog now has the ability to extra attack at higher levels. Fix the Destroy Undead feature, dealing radiant damage while a cleric is applying any condition. Okay. Fix the Incubus, sometimes skipping a turn. Fix Plant Blights, not losing the ambushing condition when combat starts. Okay. Fix Mezzles casting a Shadow Teleport spell without spending resources and without having a cooldown. Oh, I just assumed this was supposed to be a feature that they could teleport whenever they wanted. Okay. More updates to Raphael stuff. And again, and again. Changes to modes that no one plays. More Incubus stuff. We haven't encountered the Incubus. Or if we have, we don't know who it is, so don't tell us. Ketheric got some additional immunities and resistances. More Gortosh changes. Lanthader's light blinding aura from the blood of Lathander will now show the saving throws against it. Okay. Creation Echo effect is now triggered when dealing the stated damage type instead of killing creatures within them. I don't know what that is. Intelligence drains from the summon. None of this matters. Combat will now probably show when you instigate it during the fight at camp between Lizelle and Shadowheart. Wild Shape Owlbear Rupture's attack now deals consistent damage. Fix Mystic Carrion using his Merchant Scrolls during combat. Don't know that guy yet either. Characters will no longer receive the Severed Soul condition when Raphael reduces their Wild Shape to 0. Fixed a bug with Oliver not summoning his plush during combat at the Rythan Town Square. I don't know if we fought him there. Great Weapon Master bonus attack will no longer trigger when an enemy leaves Wild Shape. Grimforge oozes when I'll spit acid instead of poison. The goading attack now drops at the end of the target's turn. Fix the Boots of Stormy Clamor, not applying reverberation when applying conditions on hostile creatures. The reverberation stacking cap has been increased to 5. In Tactician mode, the Apostle of Moricurl has more health and can regain HP when consuming minions. Fix the Water Elemental using casting with its int score instead of its strength. Adjusted the resistances and reduced the HP and toughness of the Cursed Skulls and the Haunted Estate. I keep hoping to see the ground effect one mentioned. Beastmaster Zerk now can use Disarming Attack instead of Ensnaring. Fix the Myrmidon's signature spells in the fight with the Lorokin. We haven't been here yet either. Fix the Shadow Ambush passive triggering twice per attack instead of once. Grease Mephit's Greasy Discharge spell now inflicts prone for 1 instead of 2. I think prone 2 is what takes the whole turn too. So we'll have to be curious about if that changes, like losing a turn versus being proned. All right. The hired ogres will no longer trigger hostility with other characters if they can no longer fight. I don't know what that means. I know they would kill some characters that you didn't want killed sometimes. The Tharo will now join combat correctly after being recruited to camp, and Guildhall allies will now appear correctly when summoned in the endgame. Okay. So these changes, there was a lot of Act 3 fight buffs to a number of the enemies there. All right, let's keep going. All right, gameplay. Loading a save with not enough avatars compared to active player will force any unassigned players into character creation. Dismiss avatars now receive long rest benefits. Level up now require queue all characters can level up. Activate the action serve achievement to require the 5 actions to hit. The shove off achievement will no longer be granted when you jump into a chasm or fall yourself. Fix passives provided through equipment not reapplying when the equipment is enabled again after a character stops being shape-shifted. It's probably a nice quality of life thing. I rarely recognize when this happens because it's missing passives, but it sounds like it's a pretty annoying bug. Fixed a bug where putting a trader's items in their side of the barter window, closing the window without buying them, then killing them would make these items appear as loot. Who needs to scam? Who needs to exploit for money in this game? Like, nobody. They give you so much money in this game already. All right. Anything else in here? Fixed NPCs not taking turns in combat in a rare circumstance involving torches, boxes, and blood. If you've used Disguise Self, previewing the throw action will no longer show you both a preview of you and your Disguise Self. Choosing to attack the Durgar in the decrepit village through the dialogue option will no longer prompt the black screen for a few seconds. Fix not being able to pick up stacks of items if always show item stack splitter option is enabled. Fix Sovereign Spa being able to resurrect your hirelings. Fix some map markers not showing up at the right at nighttime in a quest. Fix spells that create surfaces not using the caster's spell save DC. Holy shit, finally. Does this mean we can play druids now? That's very, very, very exciting. It's a good one. Just going to write this one down. This actually opens up a bunch of character options, and if we're doing any character respecking, which we probably are, then this one would be nice. Finally, surface DC is fixed. Okay. It's a big one. Fix the bug that didn't let you use extra attack until after you've used the bonus action. Block the long rest and go to camp and end of day option if a drop in players in character creation. Fix characters rotating the wrong direction in character creation. Fix one of the sphincter doors on the nautiloid, sometimes not letting you open it again. Select and open it rather. Fix a bug related to falling while standing at the edge of a destroyed surface. Fix items equipped through script while shape changed, not replacing the current equipment and just going to the first free slot. Weird. Potions placed onto fire surfaces will no longer be destroyed. Characters will no longer float in the hag's lair during the fight with Auntie Ethel. Fix wargs being able to see you through the roof. Fix mouse clicks not being registered from certain camera angles. You can no longer cast Karsus's Compulsion while polymorphed. Okay. Increase the duration of Wall of Fire, which should last 10 turns. What was it lasting before? Fix an exploit for the Transmuter Stone, where dropping it and picking it up allowed you get more movement. The Dream Visitor now pings jars of tadpoles. Yeah, I felt like I never had a problem with Wildfire either. Gale's and Netherese Orb Blast can no longer be counterspelled. So sometimes the player made the decision to self-destruct Gale and end the campaign, and the enemy NPC countered it. That's amazing. What a hilarious interaction that would have been. All right. Fix the Bitter Divorce one having weird spell behavior. Fix the answer being lootable when other characters talking to him. The non-lethal attack tutorial now trigger when fighting somebody else. Fix sometimes being unable to see Ketheric's transformation while characters downed. Fix Undead in the Ancient Lair not giving experience. Fix Githyanki party triggering while the Githyanki is asleep. Banishment will no longer remove clones from the self-same trial. Fix the bug causing the incapacitated NPCs to toss coins to bards when after the performance is over. Moon Mote unlocked with the Spear of Night works with unarmed attacks and will display the saving throw roll on enemies that enter its effect radius. You can now trade with Volo when he arrives at your camp in Act 3. Shadowheart and the Selunites will now automatically pass the check for recognizing a statue of Saloon. Petting Scratch and the Owlbear at the same time while speaking with animals will grant you have 2 hands for a reason achievement and now triggers with all party members. Fix the second marriage wand using up actions incorrectly. Digging mounds can no longer be dug up during combat. Command Drop can no longer target characters that are immune to being disarmed. You can no longer pick up a body. Ketheric's body specifically. Banishing Smite no longer banishes dead creatures, and Rage Throw no longer applies Frenzied Strain on the Barbarian. This is a big one too, right? This is the stacking accuracy debuff that the Frenzied Barbarian gets, and not having Throw do that to you is pretty nice. Fix a dialogue with about near being trapped triggering even if you got through the cave-in. Party member corpses removed from the backpack of characters being dismissed. Ranged Steel Watchers now have correct crime reactions. The Emperor will now have overhead dialogue during the fight on the skull of Orpheus's honor guard. Okay. Fix lightning charge triggering damage. Fix lightning charge triggering damage bonus and a loop on self-inflicted damage. That's funny. I wonder what that looked like. That sounds hilarious though. Lightning charges +1 lightning damage bonus is now added on each attack instance, e.g. each bolt of magic missile. Made it possible. Was it not before? I mean, this is going to be a buff to the blaster warlock again, right? Made it possible to capture the Wormway books with a sleight of hand check. Okay. Shuffling the board background goal for charlatans now triggers more consistently. Successfully shoving characters who are in combat should now add the shover to combat. Wild magic cats and dogs no longer block cinematics. Fix issues caused by throwing weapons that are bound to your character. Immediately dropping a stolen item no longer makes it unowned and free for the taking after the original crime got addressed. If you throw someone into a dangerous surface and they die, you will now be held responsible for that death. Fix bards not being able to use their bard skills to the fullest to unlock the necromancy if they bard harder. Dude, bards are so fun in this game. Made it possible to buy a counting house safe key from Skickle the rat in the Baldur's Gate prison as intended. If an NPC calls for guards and then you shapeshift to disguise yourself without any witnesses, the guards will interrogate you rather than directly arrest you. Fixed Orin's dagger. I'm not going to read the rest of that. Glut will now heal on short rest if he's a follower. Fixed Connor's corpse floating in the air in the swamp. Choosing the option to consume the Gizari mind obtained from the Mind Flayer colony vault works now. Okay. Increase the difficulty of breaking down the door to the self-same trial. The guards and the cultists you see outside the main gates of the creche will now chat as they walk by. Lathander's a bit more stingy with his Morning Glory's radius blessings and no longer re-blesses party members every time they join the party. Different characters can now retry the history checks on the portrait and is now an active role. Fix the bleeding condition. From Scar of Dark Thirst, refreshing several times before fading. Fix stealth cones becoming invisible after switching to party members who aren't involved in a fight and then switching back to the fight. I don't know what a stealth cone is. Maybe we've never passed the perception roll. When dismissing party members, story items and characters that are dragging along in their inventory will now properly transfer to another party member. Sure. Fix the raider and warrior in the creche not behaving correctly. Fix wild-shaped companions being invisible during a cinematic when loading right into the cinematic from a save game. The guard. Oh, you think it's the sight cones. Stealth cones becoming invisible after switching to party members who aren't involved in a fight. Ah, that makes sense. Thanks for translating that for me, chat. This is the previews of vision in combat. Got it. Okay. The guards in the Baldur's Mouth Gazette take their jobs a bit more seriously and will toss out known trespassers instead of taking bribes. Can no longer interrupt the ogre and bugbear's night of passion by trying to trade with them or attack them through a door. Fix the bug with petrified drow and the Underdark not reacting to crimes if the leader was killed by the spectator. If you go into turn-based mode after exiting the astral plane, the Inquisitor's dialogue won't start too soon. Flaming Fist at Joaquin's Rest, who are throwing water at the fire, will now dynamically look for fire surfaces and extinguish them. Hell yeah, that would be great news. Steel Watch Foundry Scry will now break as it's intended after the Iron Throne is destroyed. Don't know what that is. It's probably a huge spoiler. The player character will only comment once when looting the Githyanki skeleton on the roof. Fix the bug that could make live grenades suddenly explode. I don't think we've found them. The Rosy Morn. I don't know if we found that or not. Fix the bug that can make live grenades suddenly explode after a long rest. Just long rest and all your grenades go off. All right. All right. The bloody symbols of the absolute are no longer interactable. So many just small things here. Proving the idol. Okay, I guess I should read them at least. The Scarlet Remittance condition will now be removed once the Rhapsody item is unequipped. Don't know what any of that means. Improve the idle behaviors of the gnomes and tieflings in Moonrise Towers after defeating Ketheric. The chickens in the cages near Lower City entrance will not run out of the cages anymore when you commit a crime near them. Knocked out enemies will no longer award double experience after save load. That's good. It's an unintended feature of unintended extra double dipping from knocking people out. Orna started laying traps on the approach to her lair. Oh no. Adding traps to the game. Huge negative. Blackish Wish will now kill you with radiant damage to match the new cinematics. Okay. If your control character dies during the Rosy Morn explosion, you'll automatically switch to an active character. Situation at the gates of the Rosy Morn Monastery will now be cancelled if you trigger the explosion countdown. Fix a couple of traps in the Gauntlet of Shar that couldn't be disabled. That's nice. Nothing is worse than dealing with Larian's traps and then trying to disarm something and then have that trap after you pass the disarm still explode. Fix being able to cast use jump or mage hand to bypass certain rooms on the Nautiloid. Polymorph now has a proper text warning when you attempt to target creatures that can't be polymorphed. Dropping the blood of Lathander no longer activates the portal and beams in the blood of Lathander's chamber. Activates the portals and beams, I see. Fix the Smite the Graceless passive given by the Holy Lance helm, incurring saving throws to the wearer instead of attacker when its effect is activated. Yeah, I thought that was a combat combat log bug. I didn't realize that was an actual bug that was happening. The Shield of Devotion, Shield of the Undevout, Spell Savant Amulet, Wondrous Gloves, and Shapeshifter Hat will no longer give stacked resources while being re-equipped. Halston's Bear form level ups have been balanced with other wild shape forms. Fix the Primal, that sounds like a nerf. Fix the Primal Strike feature for druids not making attacks magical for some forms. Wolf and Badger form attack tooltips now show scaling damage. Destructive Wrath now only applies maximum damage to lightning and thunder damage types. That's interesting. I assumed it was already only doing that. Hellish Rebuke should now be available as a reaction for spell slots 4, 5, and 6. Fix Commander Strike, preventing other actions from being used in some situations. Plant Blights now get the ambushing condition after you spot them with a successful perception check. Wait, Plant Blights now get the ambushing condition after you spot them with a successful perception check. This is the normal behavior for their hidden enemies, right? If you pass the perception check, you spot them ambushing. It's weird that they don't have that. I wonder what this actually means. What was happening instead? Agonizing Blast no longer adds a negative charisma modifier to Eldritch Blast damage. In Tactician mode, wait, was that for everybody or just people who had negative charisma modifiers? In Tactician mode, Profane Womb and Ritual Candles now have double HP. Fix Death Shepherds being able to resurrect non-undead. Fix Death Hand of Baal maintaining concentration on stunning gaze after target loses stunned. Fix NPCs not exploding on death when they should. Hey! Alright, that's going to re-add difficulty from a number of the exploding fights. Although, I think the workaround of just being able to unconscious enemies by hitting them with melee, I mean, it's not a pure workaround because it has to be a melee attack to do that, but it's still a pretty solid workaround for exploding enemies. So, I don't know. I think the enemies should explode when knocked out too, honestly. But it's nice to see that fixed again because that was broken unintentionally last patch, I think. Wild Shape and Improved Wild Strike. Wild Strike and Improved Wild Strike extra attacks no longer carry over after you lose Wild Strike. Fix the Lethargy condition being considered a hostile action in some situations. Fixed Act 1 magic items not spawning correctly at the traders in some rare situations. The aspect of the beast Stallion temporary HP now scale with Barb level. We used that. I didn't notice that not scaling with Barb level. Oh, maybe it scaled with character level before. Offhand ranged attacks now have the benefit. Now also benefit from the exception to low ground penalty through the Sharpshooter feat. Did they fix the offhand ranged attack weapons getting the dex modifier when they're not supposed to? Fix the lightning and burst damage from lightning charge, re-triggering the additional damage from hex. Fix the so-and-so staff resetting its cooldown after loading the game. Lava elementals are no longer immune to the planar binding spell. Arcane battery applied by the staff of spell power now will be removed when the staff is unequipped. The color spray unlocked by the Ring of Color Spray now works once per short rest. Added a delay for some overhead dialogue in Lower City. Great Weapon Master now works with any melee weapons that wielded in both hands. This adds great clubs. Okay. Improve the behavior of fishermen cleaning the oil in front of the Steel Watch Foundry. Fantastic. Fix Soul Echoes not spawning at the correct location. Improve the behavior of NPCs unloading the brig at the Baldur's Gate docks. Bay Knight Guards now find invisible pickpocketers less amusing and instead attack them if caught. The freeing of the Parade background goal should be completed only after completely freeing Hope and not after just destroying one of her chains. Cyrock and his followers will no longer ignore muted or wild-shaped characters. The frog in the Putrid Bog will give a more generous reward. We gotta go back there. I don't think we ever interacted with the frog. This playthrough. I forgot about him. The Harper Stash in the Underdark now has better loot. Boo. I did a check for the threat condition before using disengage, made it easier to target 3 specific pressure plates in Gauntlet of Shar so they can be, for instance, disarmed. Wall of Thorns no longer glows red. Mute the hidden entrance in the Hag's house. Made the hidden entrance in the Hag's house appear when you succeed with the associated investigation check. Potion of Angelic Reprieve and Restoration Faucet will now restore Bardic Inspiration for bards who have the Font of Inspiration feature. It's kind of nice. Small quality of life thing, but nice. Under Umberlee's wrath for stealing the treasure from the offering chest is more visible now. Maul's eye patch is now highlighted when you toggle the world highlight. When you toggle the world highlighter. In Tactician mode, Ether Caps will now multi-attack in a poisoned or in-webbed creature. Phase Fighters now have the web ability to spit a web surface. Sanctuary can no longer target characters already under its influence, also fixing enemies using it aimlessly. Steel Watchers no longer spawn a secondary area of effect detonation at random when they begin their self-destruct sequence. I didn't know they self-destructed. Improvements for the Illithid Vault puzzle in the Mind Flayer colony. Okay. All right. Man, how do we do this? Across acts or act agnostic flow and scripting. All of this is good, but I don't actually feel like I need to read any of this. Like, these changes aren't something I interact with, right? They just happen. Either the game does something weird, I'm like, wait, you can't know that yet, or you already know this, or you should know this, or I just don't even notice it. And every time they do this, it's an improvement of the things I don't notice, which makes the game just flow better. It like breaks the illusion that the game spends so much time and effort creating if these aren't done right. So tons of fixes here are good, but I don't know if I really want to read them. Although this one immediately pops out and makes me laugh. Shadowheart will now remember if you broke up with her. Oh, man. All right. There's a lot of these too, aren't there? Oh, man. There's so many. All right. We're not reading those. There's just too many. All right, journal changes. Added new journal entries to fix a flow issue with Damon and Karlach's main quest line. These are another one of these, right? There's a shit ton of journal bugs that they often don't update in the order they're supposed to. Sometimes sometimes it claims the quest is never completed, et cetera, et cetera. So a bunch of these being changed are nice. I'm mostly looking for more active changes that we as the player engage with to read out. Just skimming these real quick. A lot of quality of life ones in here. Like just journal being improved as quality of life. All right, UI fixes. Fixed inventory filters, sometimes closing or resetting when dragging and dropping items. Added entries to the tutorial window for disengaged and opportunity attacks. Fixed the join dialogue icon only appearing for the players on the left split screen. Fixed an issue causing you to get stuck in the combined items UI when the server FPS drop very low in multiplayer. Fixed the bonuses in active role UI, sometimes appearing too high on the screen. Okay. The tooltip for Minstara's Grace Boots now shares the item's rarity. Fixed the hit point tooltip incorrectly being titled temporary hit points. Fixed a bug causing drowned characters to display as dead. Fixed the hotbar filters for throw, passive, custom, and spell variants appearing empty. Hotbar filters. Okay. Exotics.
A new subscriber arrives. It fills you with determination.
Fixed tooltips not appearing on split screen when both players move the focus at the same time. Displayed a new tutorial pop-up when there's a full screen tutorial open. The party view of all your character screens will now follow the same order as the party line. The party view of your character screens will now follow the same order. This is when you bring them up as with like tab or whatever. It's good. Monk's unarmed version of Shadow Strike now has a different icon from the weapon attack version. Updated the icons for Divine Strike reactions. Highlighted the icon of Lower City Pass in orange as important storyline item. They did a poor job with this. There's a lot of items that are not actually important to your storyline progression that stay orange that you never get rid of because you're scared of ruining the quest. And there's also a bunch that you don't notice. So any updates they do for these are really good. Remove the will break active concentration warning on tooltips in context where it's not relevant. Either looking at a spell tooltip during level up. I wish they just remove will break concentration from prone. That seems like a better change. Volo's trader map icon will now only appear when you can actually trade with him. Fix the icon. That's nice because we tried to trade with him when he couldn't. Fix the icons for some arrow attacks made by enemies. The printing press, the cap and Bell's hat, and the wooden crevice, I guess. Fix add bonuses being visible in the active role UI even if you had no bonuses. Fix the missing icon for the entrenched murderer condition. Alchemy pouches, camp supply sacks, and keychains now show up in the trade UI and won't be highlighted as story items. Fix some values not updating properly in the alchemy panel. Fix the melee attack offhand text getting cut off in the character sheet. Fix the maximum weight displayed on the header of a character's inventory reflecting their actual maximum carrying weight. Okay. Fix an issue with the alchemy screen UI alignment. Reactions on the hotbar will no longer overlap the combat log. A fully expanded hotbar will no longer overlap the combat log. Fix long journal entries overflowing the journal UI boundaries. Fix the voice chat split screen overlap and opacity issue. In the dialogue UI, fixed text parameters, e.g. price is not being filled in when loading a save game that is in the middle of a dialogue. Okay. A lot of these seem like multiplayer bugs. Does that ever possibly happen for a player? In the dialogue UI, who knows? Improve the background art in dialogues, messages, and notifications. Fix the Arrow of Darkness icon when it's used by enemies. Fix 2 broken icons. No hint as to which ones. Updated the icons of actions granted by wild magic to stand out better among other actions and spells. I haven't played a wild magic character yet. I wonder if this is fun. Fix Oil of Combustion appearing in the combat log twice. Fix the icon for a manifesto found in Lower City. Fix an icon missing icon for the arcane barrier and so-and-so's tower. The Break of Dawn spell now has a new icon reflecting the damage type. Fix missing icons for temporary hostile, entrenched murderer, soul oath, and projected image conditions. Fix a missing display name for a nest. Fix missing icons on foundation blocks and crack stones. Party members will no longer be grouped automatically after using a waypoint. Why won't they be grouped automatically? Probably just annoying to have your type of controller you have specified removed. When casting outside of turn-based mode, some turn-based information is now hidden. Hid the inspect prompt when upcasting so it looks cleaner. Fixed a missing icon for a chair in Act 1. Okay. Fixed a concentration warning not displaying properly in tooltips. Okay. All right. Character creation and level up. Fixed maturity, freckle quantity, freckle intensity, and vitiligo pigmentation appearance options not showing during character creation while customizing the Guardian using controller. Well, that's a big fix. Fix the wrong character name appearing when you're respecing. That's funny. Fix the use recommended text in character creation spilling out of the bounds of its button in Russian. Fix split screen not splitting for character creation when the second player drops into a game level. In the character creation controller UI, align the arrows to left and right of save character randomization. The character creation and respec controller UI, fix localized text overlapping UI elements. This is all, who cares? I mean, it's good, but it's really minor stuff. Appearance setting no longer gets pushed off screen when the character summary is too long. All right, character sheet and inventory. Fix a bug that lets you bypass equipment restrictions by dragging the currently equipped weapon onto an unequipable weapon in your inventory and swapping them out. I didn't know you could do that. That sounds broken as hell. I'm glad they fixed it. Fix the amount of experience you need to level up missing from the character sheet. In combat, if you have your inventory open and it becomes a follower's turn, it will no longer switch to that follower's inventory. This means you could sometimes lose your items to that follower until the next turn if you're in the process of dragging and dropping. Fix the maximum weight in the inventory tab of the character sheet on controller. Fix the inventory weight not updating when a character becomes a player. Having the examine window open when a reaction occurs no longer blocks combat. Fix the minimap orientation setting not saving until you restart the game. Fix the alignment of coordinates and location names to the minimap on split screen. A million more controller changes. Animation and changes too. I think these again are quality of life things, but not particularly interesting to review. Like there's no implications of these fixes. It's just the game does what it's supposed to be doing better. A bunch more immersive stuff. Fixed a bunch of broken animations, some death animations, some attack animations, some clipping stuff, etc. Small dialogue changes as well. Wrote and improved the phrasing of several tooltips and warnings. Excited to hear about that. Level design. So what are these? A bunch of exploits they probably patched. Fix an issue letting you teleport into the Mind Flayer colony from the oubliette. Fix some camera clipping issues around the Stormshore Tabernacle. Made general tweaks to level design in Acts 1 and 2, like moving a book within reaching distance and fixing a hole in the ground. Made several level design tweaks across the game. All right, I don't think I need to read through these either. Sounds like a number of the unreachable objects have been moved. Some bugs and unintended connections have been moved. Some being a very small. I mean, considering they individually listed these, there's quite a lot of those. It's like 4 pages of small fixes. Okay. All right. What about the art here? Portraits, clipping, resolution. Okay, this is all small stuff again. It's going to break your immersion, but isn't game-changing in the way that the game is played or interacted with. Okay, updated puddle physics. More lighting stuff, audio stuff, SFX stuff, VFX stuff, cinematic improvements. I swear I'm not just skipping these to skip these, chat. It's just I don't think reading these makes a lot of sense. Fixed an awkward pause after one of Will's interjections when you approach Moonrise Towers. I thought it was just because Will was awkward. Okay. Updated animations for small races. Reduced head movements and improved poses in the dialogue with the harpies behind the Emerald Grove. You can talk to the harpies? I had no fucking idea. a lot of those, and that's it. Okay. So there were two big balance ones. There's a lot of Act 3 balance stuff. But the only two big ones for us were which ones? They did not fix any of the orb stuff. No comments on like Warlock multi-attacks or any of the class-based stuff. Class-based stuff we saw. So what were the ones that we actually wanted that were actually impactful? The surface DC one, and there was one other one though. What besides the surface DC? I've forgotten now. I stopped and highlighted it and talked about it for a second, but I forgot to write it down. Enemy explosions. Yeah, that was it. And then there's some small stuff around there. Okay. So nice to see the patch. Looks like Act 3. I mean, one of our goals of waiting, I mean, that was literally our... it's in one of our commands. I can't remember which command right now. Was that we were waiting on the updates to Act 3 before going into Act 3. I would like to actually see Act 3. Act 2 is a little boring at the moment. It's a little too easy again.